everybody? Can everybody hear me? Shh. Hi, everyone. All right, so Mrs. Carsted's teaching us something new on the last day of school. So first I want to notice that all of these kids sitting here actually finished school today. I know. And yet they're dressed up and they're here, so that's pretty cool. Secondly, we have a new lesson here, all of us at this table. We now have to push the button to talk. So somebody needs to wave to us if we forget to push the button and you can't hear us, okay? So we're going to watch each other tonight because it's a new one for us. All right, Mr. Shepard or Ms. Horschel, I'll stop talking.
All right, with that, if we could stand for the pledge to start the meeting.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If you could take a few minutes to make sure you silence your cell phone so we won't be interrupted.
There we go. And then just before we start reading, I want to recognize Karen Howard, who's here from Senator Galvin's office. Thank you so much for being here. And if there's anyone else that needs to be recognized, you're probably coming up to speak, so we'll wait. Okay. Okay.
I don't like this. No, I can hold it. Giant rock to hold it down or something. Okay, first we'd like to recognize our student board members, Haley and Emma, with a little thank you gift for your year of service. And now it's time for the changing of the guards. Oh, photo moment.
Photo op.
Hi. So next year I'm attending Canisius College. I'm doing a 3+4 program. I've already been accepted into LECOM Medical School. So I will be going to Canisius for 3 years and then right into LECOM, which is in Erie, PA. This is Caroline Chiflita. She will be next year's Executive Student Council President, taking over my spot. And I'm sure she'll love being a student rep on this board as much as I did. And thank you to all of the board members for an amazing experience. This was a really, really good thing I did this year, and I'm really happy that you guys let me be a part of it.
One piece of advice for Caroline?
Speak up for what you believe in and be the voice of the students that aren't here, because that's what they're counting on you to do.
Okay, thank you. Congratulations. Bye.
And Caroline's sliding in a meeting early.
Next up, we have Eden Elementary Student Projects with Mrs. LaRosa.
Tell me you all see that now.
Good evening. Eden Elementary School, some of our teachers and students are here to highlight a few of our major projects that happened in our school this year. Each grade level represented will highlight projects where learning has extended beyond our classrooms. These projects help spark creativity, brought awareness to social issues, and helped our students learn to collaborate and solve problems. Every project that you will hear about started with the initiative and dedication from our teachers. The learning and final products from our students will amaze you. First up, we have Mrs. Plotz, who's going to tell us about the Invention Convention.
I'll turn these around so you guys can see them too when we get to the end, because they're only one-sided. Sophia, Eli, we're right up here. We're first. If you guys just want to stand behind your own. Here, Eli, you just want to set that up. Good evening. I'm Sandy Plotz. I'm the GLP. That's a flashback. Eden Elementary librarian. And I have had the pleasure of running our Invention Convention program at Eden Elementary for the past, this will be our 4th year. And these people up here, Sam, did you want to come up and stand with us? You can stand with us. Sam's doing double duty here. He's an inventor, and he was in on Mrs. Walker and the 4th grade team's amazing project. So, how it works. How to advance it one, please? Our program starts early. This took place in January. I think I may even bump it up a little bit this year. But we have a call out for inventors. This is called Inventors Forum. I invite 2 inventors, local inventors, to come and talk to the kids about their inventing process, what goes into it, how they find an idea, a need that needs to be met. One of our speakers was Michaela Nelson, who's a 2014 grad of Eden, and she has her own business that she's put together making prosthetics for dolls. She's just finished a 5-year program at the University of Hartford, and she found a lot of her clients that she works with couldn't find dolls that looked like them. So Michaela took it upon herself to start designing, and once she did this, there was like a huge need. Other people said, well, I have a niece, I have a nephew, I have a grandson who would like that. Can you make me one? So she actually has people working for her now, and that's become a business that started in her garage in Eden. And Paul and Candy Swisher came down from Lockport for me, and they are the inventors of Can Jam. So if you've ever played Can Jam, they're the ones that got the idea to to make it, and the plastic pieces that you bend, that was their piece to make it marketable. People were doing it before, but to make it so it was marketable. And they talked to all the kids about what they were doing. The next step is to get an idea for an invention. And we had our local invention convention takes place during our STEAM night at Eden Elementary. And I'm going to, at this point, have the kids tell you a little bit about them and about their invention. So, we're going to start here. And what's your name?
Sam Stewart.
And?
Eli Shamara.
Boys, what is your invention? What was the name of it?
That's the other thing.
I'm sorry, Sam. Forgive me. You go there. Let Eli do the talking. Eli has a partner named Sam who couldn't be here, and I was thinking, oh, there's a Sam, and I just picked on a Sam, and he's like, Mrs. Potts, that's not me. He is. He's a great Sam, and thank you, Sam, for being such good. You should have stopped me before this, but you look sharp today. All right, so Eli, tell me about your invention and you and the other Sam, what you invented.
We invented the Multitask Table.
And what kind of a problem were you trying to solve with your invention?
So, we were trying to solve when kids are, like, their parents want to go for long walks and, like, they have, like, small children, they put this and, like, say they have, like, a wagon or something, and they put this in there, and it has all these different trays that you can put onto this one part. And one is a keyboard, one is a Lego one is a eating one, and then there's storage underneath it, and there's a dry erase and chalkboard.
And Eli, what was your favorite part? What did you and Sam like best about doing this invention?
We liked working together and building it and coming up with the idea.
All right, thank you. All right, Sophie, I'm going to just have you switch places with that. I know that's yours. If you just want to scoot it down here to me, I can hold it. All right, and your name is?
Sophia Donovan,
And what was your invention, Sophie?
the fruit fly repeller.
So you want to tell them just a little bit about it? I'm going to show everybody.
So I took an apple and I hollowed it out down the middle so I could fit cotton balls with peppermint oil on them because the mosquitoes, the fruit flies, they don't like peppermint, so it gives off the smell and it keeps them from eating your fruit.
And what did you like best about participating in Invention Convention?
It really helped me learn some responsibility because I was like, in the afternoons I'd go, okay, I have to do my homework, then I have to come up with another way to build it because the last way didn't work out or something like that.
Okay, good. Thanks, Sophia. Okay. All right, and inventing kind of runs in the family here. So tell them your name and your invention.
My name is Addie Donovan, and I made the doggy vest.
Okay, you want to, actually, Sophie, you want to come out and get your sister's thing out so everybody can see it, and then I'll carry it around. So, what problem were you trying to solve with your doggy vest?
So when I would walk my dog, I couldn't hold anything, or I would walk to the end of my road and then realize that I forgot something. So I just connected everything on a vest that you can wear.
Okay, and what did you like best? Sophie, you just want to walk around with that, because I know you're not shy. You'll do that for me. What did you like best about participating in Invention Convention?
Like how after we won in the regionals, we got to take a class at UB, and it was really fun.
All right. And as Addie just mentioned, our kids from Eden took first and third in their respective divisions. Sophie was actually one of 12 picked out of the whole, and this competition, the regional competition, takes in all the 7 Western New York counties, and Sophia was up on stage as one of the 12 that they might be sending to nationals. She didn't do that, but she was up against some kids a lot older, so it'll be very interesting to see where we go with our inventions next year. So thank you very much for the opportunity. Yep.
Can't we keep going? Should I move this? Yeah, whenever you're ready.
Hello, we are third graders from Mrs. Gamoni and Mrs. Weber class. Our names are Brayden, Garrett,
McKinley.
Today we are here to talk to you about what we have been doing to prevent plastic pollution. This is something we are very passionate about all year. We have been learning about the ways plastic hurts our earth. Sea creatures are dying from the plastic in our ocean. The plastic is taking up a lot of space. We learned that animals are eating the plastic. This is hurtful to them and us because we eat some fish from the ocean. We are trying to help sea creatures and the ocean because we love them and there's only one planet Earth. In the spring, our class made a sculpture called The New Terror of the Ocean. It was made from recycled plastic bags that you get from Tops, Wegmans, or Walmart.
We collected these bags from our own families, and they would usually be thrown away and possibly pollute the ocean. We also were keeping track of how many plastic bags our families were using each day. Mrs. Grimaldi, Mrs. Weber, and Miss Morgan helped us to make the shark body out of chicken wire.
Then we waved the plastic bags through the chicken wire. We wanted our bags to look like a shark because plastic bags are dangerous like sharks.
We were so excited when our sculpture was picked to be shown in the I Am Solution to Plastic Pollution art exhibit. This exhibit was put on by Erie County, the Buffalo Science Museum, and the Buffalo Zoo. A group of us went to the museum on Earth Day, Sunday, April 22nd, to accept our award from Erie County Executive Mark Pollenkars. Thanks to the Eden PTA, our whole class was able to go and see our art piece on May 3rd. It was really cool to see other people looking at our artwork too. We also saw more art made from recycled plastic like a panda, flip-flops, and quilt creations. We saw the rain barrels and all the other exhibits at the museum. It was cool because I had never been there before.
Our project doesn't end there. When Wegmans learned about our mission, they donated reusable shopping bags to our class. We've been trying hard to use them every time we shop with our families. We've also continued to keep track of how many plastic bags our families use now. We hope to make this less and less. Now when I see plastic bags I just saw blowing in my front yard, I feel bad and upset. But I know that if I pick them up, I'm doing the right thing for the ocean and the animals inside. We hope that you think about using less plastic too. Thank you.
Should we wait? Okay. Hi, I'm Jenny Walker, and I teach 4th grade over the elementary building. And I brought with me three. We're missing one. Students to share a little bit of a terrific project they worked on. So let's just have them move the barrel. Put it right there. Yep. And so we have 3 friends here. You are?
Sam Stewart.
Again, Sam, yeah. Again. Okay.
Carly Wiles, Sierra Clark.
And they're going to tell you a little bit about what we did. Can you hold that for me?
Mrs. Walker's class participated in a rain barrel design contest sponsored by the Erie County Department of Environment and Planning. We entered into this project with many other schools and were lucky enough to have been selected as the winners in our category with the slogan of "No plastic would be fantastic." Our class was invited to the award ceremony at the Buffalo Science Museum, where our barrel was on display for a month. We are hoping to use it to collect rainwater for the vegetable garden at the elementary school.
No plastic would be fantastic. Did you know that polluted stormwater is the #1 cause of water pollution? We sure didn't. As a class, we brainstormed different designs and slogans around the idea of stormwater pollution. We combined many of the ideas to come up with our slogan and illustration, and all participated in the painting of the rain barrel. We wanted to show how everyday pollution, even as basic as dropping a water bottle, can affect all living things. When humans drop and leave such things as plastic bottles, bags, and containers on the ground, rainwater pushes the garbage into the open storm drains, which then leads to larger bodies of water. The fertilizer, grease, oil, and other debris falling into our drains make up for a large percentage of water quality problems.
These polluted bodies of water endanger and kill animals living in our world. 1.5 million birds have plastic within their digestive systems due to eating these items because they think they are food. If everyone pitched in and decided not to use plastic, that would be fantastic. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Grace Canfield, and this is Abby Laverty. We are 5th grade students in Miss Theophilis' class and Miss Dagger. In 5th grade, we study the UDHR. Article 25 states that everyone has the right to have their basic needs met. Our 5th grade class designed a Hats for Helping campaign to get money to buy basics, baby supplies for refugee families. Students at Eden Elementary could wear a hat for $1 to help support the refugee families. Students in our class also donated items such as toothbrushes, shaving cream, and also a microwave. We raised about $850. $515 of this was donated by an anonymous donor because of the minutes the 5th grade orchestra students practiced. The other part was from our Hats from Helping collection.
Hi, my name is Emma Schmidt.
I'm Mia Margadowski.
And I'm Catherine Cazzalo. We want to share some facts with you. Over 100 billion plastic store bags are used in the U.S. every year, and only one of those plastic bags can take up to 100 years to decompose. According to the Buffalo City Mission, Western New York has an estimated 5,500 people homeless, and over half are experiencing it for the first time. 2 out of 3 have high school or greater education, yet 45% of people in Buffalo and Erie County live below the poverty line. You may wonder, why are we telling you this?
For the Raiders Respond project that started around January 6th grade, tried to make a difference by recycling plastic grocery bags to help the Mass for a Mission organization. Gal Potter started the group to help the homeless population in Erie County by crocheting strips of grocery bags and a 3-foot by 6-foot sleeping mask to hand out. They are lightweight, durable, and help fight the rain and snow while on the ground. Gal has reached out to as many groups throughout Western New York to increase awareness, and even came with her masks to the school to show us what they looked like and felt like.
For our part, bags were collected, sorted by color, cut into strips, and tied together to make plarn, or plastic yarn balls. Our bag supply was never ending, and some Model UN members came to help after school one day to make some progress. Some of our 6th graders know how to crochet and started to crochet a mat themselves. One mat takes between 700 to 1,000 bags to make. We had at least 10 50-gallon garbage bags full of plastic bags, and that was just from Main Street and a few of the high school teachers sending them over.
Thank you for giving us this time to highlight our awesome projects that have happened at Eden Elementary School.
Yeah, we don't have control.
I need your help.
All right, moving, no, I don't. I just need I do. Yeah, moving on to item 3, we have Mrs. Theophilus and Mrs. Stager.
Oh, yes, and I know that you guys have families and you want to go. So Mrs. Theophilus and Mrs. Stager sitting in the front, they've both presented earlier before, but I'm so glad that you could come so that we could formally recognize you. Ellen Kindly and I had an opportunity to go to Albany to see the two of them present at a NICEGate conference. And NICEGate is basically New York State tech ed, and for Eden to be involved in anything at the state level with tech education is just a powerful moment because we've been so far behind in tech for so long. And it was great watching the two of you. You were the best presenters we'd seen, don't you agree? There's no doubt about it. They were videotaped by New York State. They did this on personalized learning, which was our district initiative for the past 2 years, and you were also offered the opportunity to present again to the state, am I right? If Morgan will come while she's on childcare. Exactly right. So it was just really awesome, and I don't know if Mrs. Conley wants to comment or not, but it was great to go with her as well.
Just that I was thankful that I could come and watch it. It was a great presentation, and I learned more about personalized learning because it was kind of fuzzy up here, so it was, and Sandy was right. We saw other workshops too, and yours was the best, so.
Yours was the best. And then also for Mrs. Stager, so let's see if I get my numbers right, is she applied for the National Board Certification Fellow. Out of 350 applicants, 15 were interviewed, and she was selected as one of the top 5 nationally as a fellow. And so we are so incredibly proud of you and proud for you. I know you have no idea what you're going to do. I have no idea what you're going to do, but I suspect you're going to have fun and be busy doing it. So thank you both for coming tonight, and thank you for being such a special part of Eden. Okay. And you can go home if you want. You don't have to stay. Okay.
Up next, Mrs. Nicastro and the yearbook.
So there she is. She was hiding behind someone for me. So I would tell you this is my 6th year at Eden, and this is my first time, honestly, recognizing the yearbook to you as the Board of Education. I did bring it, and I want to pass it around and should have done that earlier. This is one of the best yearbooks that I have seen in 34 years of education for me. The only other one that I've seen that even ever came close was 10 years ago, and so I'm duly impressed. Thank you so much. You're welcome. You're welcome. I want to just share with you a couple of reasons why I feel this way. First, love the title, right? This is, can you show them the title, Jen? Yeah, this is, read it.
Oh, it says, this is our turf. This is our turf.
This is our turf. And then inside, they follow through on this capital project theme. And as you know, those of you who have graduated, to be able to go back 20, 30, 40 years ago and watch what happened to a district in a year, this is, you told a story. And that story will be there forever because of you. And if you hadn't done that, we wouldn't have that story. And the only other book that I have found in Eden that looks even remotely like that is from the 1940s when they started to build. So you're right up there with that one. And it's also, it's clean, it's crisp, it's organized, it's just a really, really great book. So thank you so much.
That
Yeah.
was the mission when we started. We wanted to make the best book the district had ever seen.
You accomplished it. So thank you.
You guys didn't have the money then to do colors.
So she said the last time she was all black and white, so.
And we owe a lot of gratitude to Mr. Cudahy. Some of the photos in the book are his, and they're stunning. He's an amazing photographer, and every time we were in a pinch, we'd reach out and say, hey, do you have a photo of? And he'd be like, oh, I have a whole zip drive. So thank you so much. Thanks for everything.
I would just like to say it would be super helpful, like, for years coming to have, like, a class for designing the yearbook because it was so time-consuming and it took a lot of learning with the new program and the computers and just getting everything together and editing and stuff. So it would be really cool to have a class if people want to do it.
Make sure you share that with your principal, okay? Oh, you did. Perfect. Okay.
Thanks so much.
Okay, up next, the comprehensive report pertaining to the sharing of sales tax with Stefan Lahailu.
Thank you so much for being here. Brendan, right, is also here with you. We expected one of you, and we got both, so I think this is awesome. Thank you. We really appreciate it.
Deal this evening. Do I need to hit a red button myself, or are we good? I tell you, your students were quite impressive. I was looking at ages and hoping some of them could take a civil service exam that we could, although I do like the idea of fruit. I figured, boy, if they can come to our refrigerator at the Rath Building, we need a barrel of that. So I appreciate you taking the time for me. I think we're just loading our presentation right now. I will be brief, I promise. One of the reasons why, and I think the timing of the discussion was incredibly challenging and difficult for not just this school board, but for school boards across Erie County when it comes to, in my humble opinion, at that time, the unfortunate discussion about school consolidation happened literally before your budget votes. And I think that was just a really difficult, unfortunate conversation that a lot of individuals had. So I think the first question we have is, of course, does school consolidation save money? And in full disclosure, I formerly worked for Congressman Chris Collins, and in the office, you could not turn anywhere, in any room, in any wall, and he had a sign for all of us. It said, in God we trust, all others bring data. And I live by that mantra. In God we trust, all others bring data. And there's a lot of emotion about this issue. I think there's a lot of false ideas that, oh, you consolidate, you get rid of administrators, you're going to save money. And so I decided what you folks do is you tell your students, do your homework. Well, I want to do my homework as well. So I literally met or phoned and spoke to practically every single school superintendent across Erie County. And without just throwing a trial balloon out there and saying, let's all consolidate, I want to actually meet and communicate with our school superintendents and say, what do you think? What are your thoughts on this? Is this something that you would want to do? So what we did was, we actually wanted to start at the very beginning, number one, just first about the revenue that we share with you, your school district, and your community. In 1977, the cities of Buffalo, Tonawanda, and Lackawanna entered within the County of Erie a sales tax sharing agreement. And the reason why that agreement took place was that those 3 cities agreed in principle not to levy a sales tax. So for them not levying a sales tax, we actually agreed to share then sales tax revenue with school districts, the NFTA, and municipalities across Erie County. Just so you're aware, according to the letter of the law of the contract, any of the 3 parties can actually terminate this agreement with only 12 months' notice. That's a little scary from our perspective because you rely heavily on the sales tax revenue, as does a lot of the different towns and municipalities. As you can see, 30 different districts depend on this revenue. And Eden here, $1.5 million in sales tax revenue we shared with your district. It's not just your school district, but it's also your surrounding towns and municipalities. Eden, a little more than $1 million. Town of Boston, about $1.2 million. Evans, $1.9 million. North Collins, $340,000. And Concord, almost $700,000. So the road to school consolidation is long, it's bumpy, and it's not easy. First, district must commission some kind of a feasibility study that's approved by multiple boards of education that wanted to potentially consolidate. And as you're well aware, Erie County has no role in that first step. The second, districts must prove that you have community support to actually consolidate with a different district. And when you look at the NICED in the law, it's somewhat vague about what they define community support as. They mention even petitions, straw polls. The County of Erie has zero role in that portion of the process. Next, New York's Commissioner of Education would issue an order for consolidation and then try and come up with the new district boundaries. Erie County, if you're touching or catching on to a theme here, Erie County has no role in that process whatsoever. Then the next step, step number 4, and then based on the studies, existing community support, and then the order from NICED, then there would be referendums between each community and, of course, your boards of education. It would have to be approved by all. The County of Erie has zero role in that process. And then finally, if everything does pass different municipalities and your boards, then NICED would basically put it in order, and then it would be in place in July of the following year. Again, we hear these sound bites of if you consolidate, you get rid of administrators, you're going to save a boatload of money. That's factually incorrect, and it's intellectually dishonest. Now, when we look at the issue of union contracts and bumping up salaries, we just took these 2 issues, or school districts in Cheektowaga, because you can see the major discrepancy when it comes to either bumping up. If you're combining 2 different school districts, you look at your union contracts. Cheektowaga Central, 17 years of experience, and this is with a master's degree, by the way. Cheektowaga Central pays about $65,000. Cheektowaga Sloan, $92,000. So that is a $27,000 increase per teacher. That's per teacher if you consolidated those 2 school districts. And then we're looking at bumping up. You would also have to bump up healthcare costs, not just salaries. So you're either going to have to bump up each teacher by $27,000 or slash your teacher contracts by $27,000 when it comes to consolidating. We just use those 2 issues. Of course, New York State says, yes, we give you temporary aid, but that phases out after a few years. So that aid is gone and your costs are up. It's also higher property taxes, especially if you're crossing town lines. Based on taxes on a $100,000 home, government then would be picking winners and losers. Cheektowaga Central would see taxes go up by about $168, but then Cheektowaga Sloan would see them cut by almost $1,400. We talk about the emotion of a school consolidation, and I want to use one district as an example of Lancaster. I mean, do you folks remember all the headlines in Lancaster? And that's all they wanted to do was actually change a mascot. They just wanted to change a mascot. And there was a massive uproar about the loss of community identity just in Lancaster alone about changing a mascot. So you can imagine how passionate your families and taxpayers would be if you said, we're going to no longer be our school district, we're going to merge with another one. When this issue actually went up to the voters when it comes to consolidating villages and towns, voters in Erie County overwhelmingly rejected consolidation of villages and towns. You look into Pew, that was roughly a 3-to-1 rejection. Williamsville, even more so in Sloan, a huge margin of victory. The taxpayers, when they were given the opportunity, said, absolutely not. We do not want to consolidate our village and our town. My alma mater, Syracuse University, actually conducted a study when it comes to school consolidations. It can work from a fiscal perspective only if one of those districts is facing massive fiscal constraints. If there is a massive budget meltdown, fiscally it would make sense for one of those districts to consolidate in the very rare occurrences where it would actually be beneficial towards one of those districts. But the study from Syracuse University said that you can actually save money if you have a district of 300 pupils or less, and then you're substantially increasing the cost if there's two districts with 1,500 or more that come together. So 300 or less of a school district population, your students, then it would make sense. And as you can see, that's just not the case in Erie County. Even the smallest district, North Collins, has 585 students, and you folks are nowhere near that 300 number. We always hear in the public domain all the time that you folks should be doing more with less. You should be consolidating. You should be saving money. You should be sharing services. You're already doing that. I'm literally preaching to the choir now. When New York State is forcing you basically to show them that you're saving 1% of your 2014 and 15 tax levy, that you're showing New York State already that you must not only save 1% of your budget through not consolidations, but through cost-sharing initiatives, and then you've had to sustain that over a 3-year period. So you're already doing and have been doing, and you've been required by law to do that when it comes to coming up and doing more with less. You've been doing it for years because it's been mandated by New York State. So it's really disingenuous to say that you folks should start sharing service. You should start doing it. You've been doing it for years. And in my conversations with school superintendents, a lot of individuals gave examples of what you're doing already. Some are sharing athletic teams, even athletic directors amongst multiple districts. Some are sharing buildings and grounds supervisors, food service directors, transportation supervisors. You want to talk about a negative impact on a child? I was just speaking to some of our parents walking in here. I don't think you want your children on a bus for an hour and a half. You don't want your kids on a bus for an hour and a half coming to school. And we're talking potentially a 3-hour bus ride to get here and then go home. And they're expected to be energetic and in an environment where they were going to learn. Also Iroquois, that was another example. Their superintendent said our kids will be on the bus for an hour and a half, or an hour and 45 minutes if we consolidate with different districts. So even fueling sites, Iroquois, that was the one where they said we are actually sharing fueling with the town to save money. So I'm going to close and give you my opinion based on the data when it comes to school consolidation. I've never seen any of you at this table come to a county legislature hearing and say, this is how you folks should fix your county potholes. I've never seen any of you do that. Why? It's not in your wheelhouse. You're in the business of educating children. I've never seen any educator come to the Rath Building and say, our potholes are a mess around Erie County, and this is how you're going to use your cold patch, this is how you're going to use your hot patch, and here's the roads that all of you are going to fix. Quite frankly, it's none of our business how you educate your kids. It's none of our business, but it's yours. So in my humble opinion, I wholeheartedly support school consolidations if the taxpayers support it, if they vote for it, if your school board supports it, if multiple school boards support it, and if there's community consensus. God bless America, that's democracy in action. But I think it's disingenuous and dishonest to force that on districts by having these blanket statements saying, oh, if you do it, you're going to save from these fat cat administrators, you're going to save taxpayers money. That is dishonest and it's wrong. You're already saving money. You're already doing more with less within your district. And so, again, if your community supports it, great, wonderful. I don't think it should be done under the threat of, we're going to withdraw your sales tax revenue if you don't consolidate. Because we actually heard that threat. The threat was made that we have a hammer on school districts and we'll use it if they don't consolidate. I just think that's wrong. That is wrong. That's not democracy in action. You folks don't tell us how to run county government. We shouldn't tell you how to run your school district. So that was our report that we did for school districts and towns, exactly how much we share in sales tax revenue. And just to share my thoughts, based on the data, about school consolidations. I'll be more than glad to answer any questions you may have, if you do.
So if we were to combine districts, would there be any savings to the county in sales tax?
It's my understanding, no. We'd still have to pay. You'd combine, let's just say, and I'm just going to use this as an example, if you combine with Cheektowaga. All we would do is basically combine the revenue we would give to Cheektowaga and you that we're doing right now. It'd be a wash. There'd be zero loss or savings either way.
I do have a question. Just, you talked about bumping up, and I just want to make sure that we have people in the audience who, I mean, I've done a little bit of research. I'm by no means an expert. But when you talk about bumping up, my understanding is bumping up salaries, benefits, whatever. When schools consolidate, it's the law. It's not something that just happens because.
My deputy controller who helped us write this report is an attorney. And again, I'm paraphrasing here, he saw very somewhat vague mentions in the law about it. I think it could be argued either way, but we took the position based on the law that yes, you would have to bump up. And yeah, all contracts. We're not just talking teachers, we're talking all of your union contracts. So that's why we use that example with Cheektowaga Sloan. Every teacher's salary would bump up by $27,000. Which again, and we hear, oh, it's state aid, we'll don't worry about it, we'll give you state aid, but that phases out, I think, after 6 years. Yeah, it phases out and it's gone. And then you're stuck with the legacy costs, and you're given a one-shot revenue in state aid.
So then on top of that, you go to a lower tax rate too. So not only are you raising expenses, you're lowering
Right, which is exactly
the revenues.
Yeah, which is why exactly we use that chart when it comes to those two, that literally government would be picking winners and losers, and you would be changing your tax rate, which I don't see anyone in their right mind in your respective communities saying, I'm sold, let's consolidate. It just does. Unless you're making a decision not based on facts or data. If you're making a decision on emotion, sure, sounds great. But when you actually drill down in the data, it does not make sense, in my opinion, after looking at the numbers.
So the county executive did offer to come in and do the analysis for us at his meeting in North Collins.
Oh, I'm sure. The numbers don't lie. You know, the data is the data. Those are the numbers. Your sales tax revenue, and if you cherry pick your data, sure, you can make anything look great. But when it comes to those contracts and bumping up, it would be an absolute train wreck for your budget. I mean, train wreck. It would be bad. All right. Thank you so much for coming. I don't have a rain barrel, but I have a presentation. So
Thank you very much for coming. Thank you.
Oh, God bless America. We've visited probably 20 so far, including you. Brendan, we've visited, I think, personally visited 12 different school districts on the initial round, and then boards, we've done Alden, Iroquois, here, and there's one more.
Central,
Cheektowaga Central. And then we're visiting school boards throughout the rest of the summer. So everyone's been fairly receptive. I didn't think it was fair that school districts were getting cheap shots based on this issue without really having an intellectually honest discussion about the data. And that's why I just said, let's get in the car, let's do a report, and let's just go and talk to people. Which I did. I'm in Hamburg, so I'm not too far from you. So, thank you.
Can we get a picture before you go?
Sure.
Thank you.
Sure. While Sandy's taking the picture, can we get the safety presentation started with Mr. Martin?
Just want to check something. I'm an AARP carrying member, which makes me a super senior, so do I have to work during the summer?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Maybe extra hours with the project.
Yeah. Sure. Okay, Commissioner regulation requires that we present and set on the table for 30 days our safety plan. Okay, so I'm here tonight, we're on time, July is the month we have to do this. It will sit for 30 days, you do not have to take any action on the plan tonight, you will next month. What we've done is we have gone through it again with a fine-tooth comb to change based on new personnel and changes within the buildings. All of those things affect the safety plan and how we implement it. So, Barb, do you have a copy of this, or do you want this one?
I have a copy, but it's not with me. It's in my office.
Okay, so that'll sit in the district office for 30 days, and you will act on it next month. Just as a side note, because I know safety has been a big issue that's been in a lot of the media lately, I want you to know that we have had Eden Police, New York State Police, the sheriffs from 2 different counties, and someone from Homeland Security doing a survey of our buildings. We're not in bad shape. They're going to produce a document to make some recommendations on some things they saw. But overall, I think they were pretty well impressed with what they saw here. So we are taking the safety of our staff, students, and everyone that visits our building into consideration in what we do and how we implement safety in the buildings. So I wanted you to know that. That was done last week. That report will be coming out, I assume, shortly. It's right now handled by the Eden Police. We also are working with the town on some security issues and meeting with them and the local town officials on relatively a monthly basis. And we're talking about some drills and things like that. So, and for your information, Paul, the laminated prints were done. Okay? So that's all I have for you tonight. If I don't see you, have a good summer. Thank you.
All right, moving on, item 3, request to withdraw specific items from the consensus items. No requests? Okay, item 4, routine actions, approval of consensus items. Recommended motion that the following consensus items be approved as listed in the administrative memorandum A through R.
Second.
Questions or discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Motion carried.
All right, this is the time that the board is designated to receive statements from individuals and groups. The board will review all statements and respond appropriately at a future meeting. All persons in attendance are required to sign the attendance sheet and designate their representation status, for example, parent, teacher, bus driver, chamber of commerce, etc. There is a 2-minute time limit.
I'm sorry, what's the protocol again? Name and address? Don Loretto, I live on East Eden Road. Well, 2 things now. The comptroller, I think, was factually incorrect when you asked about bump up. There is no provision in Taylor law or state collective bargaining agreement law that mandates any union to go up or down by any form of government. So that's, factually he's incorrect.
Well, I think, I'm sorry, I won't take off for your time. I think you said it could be argued either way.
No, there's no law, there's no provision in the law that lets any form of government dictate a collective bargaining agreement term. That's up to the district and the union. Always has been, always will, but that's what the statute says. All right, I read on your website, in your response to the, Mr. Polenkar's about consolidation, that you've had discussions in meetings, and I couldn't find any reports or minutes, and I came tonight to ask the board if there's an easy way to get that. Have you met with other districts? Do you have a committee? Had you had a committee? Is there a report on what you found? Because I find none of that in the data on the website.
Sorry, can you share where you were speaking about for Mr. Polenkar's?
In your response in the district.
In the Q&As?
No, in the district response to Mr. Polenkar's consolidation.
There's the district's response.
In that response, it states that you have met or considered, and I was wondering if there's a record of any of that. Dates, times, committees, reports, and if there is it on the website? And if it's not, it should be. And how do I get a follow-up to it? Is somebody going to contact me, or do I need to contact?
If you give me a contact number, I'll call you or email you.
Either way.
So just whichever one you give me, I'll write down.
Pardon me?
Whichever one you give me, I'll write down, either your email or your phone.
As long as I know, should I come back and ask the question again for a response? Thank
So, but can you give me your email or phone number so that we have it?
you. After the meeting?
You could just give it right to Mrs. Thomasula, right here, right here, right here.
Thanks.
I don't like the pressing of the button. And, anyone else? All right. Item 5, new business. Resignations. Item 1, accept resignation that upon the recommendation of the superintendent, the resignation of pre-K teacher Amy Sullivan be accepted effective June 30th, 2018, pending appointment as a K-5 elementary teacher.
Second.
Any discussion?
Sorry, I'll hold my discussion till the next one.
Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, motion carried.
Oh, perfect. Thank you. Okay. Oh, so much better. Item B, appointments. All appointments will not be effective in service to the district pursuant thereto shall not begin until there has been compliance with statutory and regulatory provisions for fingerprinting certification and clearance for employment. Here are the recommended motions. Item 1, appoint elementary teacher that upon the recommendation of the superintendent Joshua Walker, who is initially certified in childhood education B through 2, and 1 through 6 is hereby appointed to a probationary position in the elementary tenure area for a probationary period commencing on September 1st, 2018 and ending on August 31st, 2021, unless extended in accordance with the law. This expiration date is tentative and conditional only, except to the extent required by applicable provisions of Section 3012 of Education Law. In order to be granted tenure, the teacher must receive composite or overall annual professional performance review ratings pursuant to Section 32D of Education Law of either effective or highly effective in at least 3 of the 4 preceding years. And if the teacher receives an ineffective composite or overall rating in the final year of the probationary period, the teacher shall not be eligible for tenure at that time. Salary is based upon ETA contract, Master's Step 2.
Second.
Comments or discussion?
Yep, I'd just like to note in italics below it, since Josh has been here for a year as a long-term sub for Mrs. King, that year would count, so he would effectively be starting at year 2 and not need 4 new years, just 3.
Seeing no other comment, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, motion carried.
He's done an excellent job, and he's here. Can you just stand so they see you? Yeah. So, if you saw on Facebook all those little comments by the kids for the graduates at the grad walk, those came from Mr. Walker's class, and they were awesome.
So sweet.
Yep. Congratulations.
All right. Item 2, appoint elementary teacher that upon the recommendation of the superintendent Amy Sullivan, who is professionally certified in literacy B through 6 and childhood education B2 and 1 through 6, is hereby appointed to a probationary position in the elementary tenure area for a probationary period commencing on September 1st, 2018 and ending on August 31st, 2022, unless extended in accordance with the law. This expiration date is tentative and conditional only, except to the extent required by applicable provisions of Section 3012 of Education Law. In order to be granted tenure, the teacher must receive a composite or overall annual professional performance review rating pursuant to Section 3012D of the Education Law of either effective or highly effective in at least 3 of the 4 preceding years, and if the teacher receives an ineffective composite or overall rating in the final year of the probationary period, the teacher shall not be eligible for tenure at the time. Salary is based upon ETA contract, Master's Step 5.
Second.
Discussion or questions?
So Amy's been with us for a while, as you can see. She started out with us in the computer lab, and then she went to pre-K and worked side by side with with Mrs. Cudahy, and now this position would put her back into the computer lab based on retirement of Mr. Messai. Again, she's done an incredible job. She's got a lot of energy, smiles all the time, all the time.
Oh, where? Oh, there.
See, she's smiling.
Yeah. Congratulations.
But you can't clap yet, because they haven't voted yet.
Oh, yeah.
You have to hold, right?
All right.
All right, seeing no more questions, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Motion carried.
Yeah, now you can clap.
Okay, item 3, appoint part-time teachers for 2018-19, that upon the recommendation of the superintendent, the following personnel are appointed to part-time positions for the 2018-19 school year. Karen Bozaki, music, Jeffrey Piersante, business teacher, Rachel Braun, art teacher, Christopher Duff, librarian.
Second.
Questions or discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion carried.
Item 4, appoint summer bus cleaner, that upon the recommendation of the superintendent, Cynthia Casper, be appointed as a summer bus cleaner effective July 5th, 2018, and ending no later than August 31st, 2018. Salary is $11 with CDL and $10.40 without CDL.
Second.
Discussion or questions? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion carried.
Item 5, appoint summer technology staff positions, that upon the recommendation of the superintendent, the following personnel be appointed for summer technology positions: Randall Pearson, Dylan Tylax, Sarah Fiorella, Ray Neal, and Susan Roseman.
Second.
Discussion?
I'd just like to put a plug in for Randy Pearson, who's done an incredible job as a tech integrator for us. I mean, from the get-go, there isn't anything that gets past him, and if he doesn't know how to do it, he figures it out, including our Facebook page. So thank you, Randy.
Thank you.
Seeing none other discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion carried.
Yay. Item 6, appoint summer school personnel, that upon the recommendation of the superintendent, the following personnel be appointed for summer school effective July 2nd, 2018 to August 10th, 2018. Kelly Beller and Kate Sukan, sorry. Thank you.
Second.
Questions? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion carried.
Item C, accept state funding, that upon the recommendation of the superintendent, $25,000 in state funding for a school resource officer and $10,000 in state funding to support agriculture-based education programming be accepted from Senator Patrick Galvin.
Second.
Discussion?
Just that Kieran is here again, representing from Galvin's office, so please thank him for this most generous award. I do have a conversation with the town supervisor tomorrow regarding bringing an SRO in, and then we've effectively brought ag back to Eden because of him, and so I just wanted to say thank you for that as well.
Seeing no other questions, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion carried.
Item D, approve request to lease school buses and drivers, that upon the recommendation of the superintendent, school buses with drivers be leased to Eden KinderCare for their summer program on July 13th, July 20th, and July 27th, 2018.
Second.
Questions or discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion carried.
Item E, approve accessing of musical instruments, that upon the recommendation of the superintendent, the following instruments be accessed and disposed of as the district deems appropriate: 2 bass xylophones, 3 alto xylophones, and 1 soprano metallophone.
Second.
Questions or discussion?
Pretty beat up.
Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion carried.
Item F, approve accessing a vehicle, that upon the recommendation of the superintendent, the Chevrolet conversion bus be accessed and disposed of as the district deems appropriate.
Second.
Questions? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Abstain?
Item G, award 2017 capital outlay project bid, that upon the recommendation of the superintendent, the bid for the 2017 capital outlay project at the Eden Central School District be awarded to TGR Enterprises in the amount of $69,818.
Second.
Discussion?
David, can you just put a little detail to this, please?
Okay, in the budget, we put a line item for a capital outlay project, and we started doing that approximately 4 years ago. The deal is that when you do these $100,000 projects and you complete them, you can submit your paperwork to the state education department. You get the aid on it, the building aid, the very next year. The beauty of that is that by rolling this over, you don't have to technically budget as much money to do another $100,000 project. In the case of this project, we're looking at replacing more doors and thresholds and things that are really rotting out around this building. We confine these projects to one building rather than spread them throughout the district. It works out much better, and we can get it approved much faster. So we expect about a 6-week turnaround time from state education department, which is far better than the 41 weeks for a full capital project.
Okay.
No, it's this building, and it's not all of them. Right? Because it is prevailing wage, you're only going to get 100,000 stretched so far, but we do have a number of problem doors that really need to be replaced.
Now, what I want to point out is the reason for these capital outlays is instead of saving all this little stuff and creating one major project, we get the aid quicker, and it makes a better cash flow, and it makes it easier so that when you get to big projects such as the one we're currently under, it's not entangled with all these little details that we can take care of in these little projects.
And the aid back?
The aid back is our building aid of about 72% or 72 cents on a dollar.
Any other questions?
Nope.
Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion carried.
Item H, approve transfer of unassigned fund balance, that upon the recommendation of the superintendent, the Board of Education authorize the transfer of 2017-18 unassigned fund balance into the following reserves as of June 30th, 2018. Capital Reserve Vehicles, buses, in the amount of $596,000.
Second.
Questions?
I'd like to kind of inform you, this is the standard reserves that you do every year. This is the $596,000 that we are putting aside to purchase next year's school buses. So that's why we know the exact amount at this point in time to put into that reserve.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion carried.
What is item I? Okay. Am I reading that? Okay. Okay.
Would you like me to read the
Yeah,
results?
that would be great.
Okay. The results of last night's Proposition 1, which is to expend $90,130, was 590 yes, 454 no. Out of 1,044 votes, we had a 57% positive vote result last night. And thank you to everyone who came out and voted and supported the district.
Okay, so I'm reading item I. The second, move to accept. Wait, that's-
Second.
Any discussion or comments?
All in favor?
C.
I took you, stole your thunder, sorry. I just want to keep it moving.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Motion carried.
All right, we have an item that we added here to adopt the 2019 District Code of Conduct, that upon the recommendation of the superintendent, the 2018-19 District Code of Conduct be approved.
Second.
Questions? C.
So, no, I do think it's worthwhile, because you actually approved it the last time, so I think it's worthwhile bringing up why they're bringing it up again. So can you tell them?
Yes, when I was looking over the notes that Kevin McCarthy took from me, it said Sandy made the motion. And I questioned Kathy, I said, he can't make the motion, and
Sandy said Sandy didn't make a motion, so Barb listened, and... Nothing like a videotape. So your vote from the last time doesn't count, because I can't make a motion, so you have to vote again.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Any other questions? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, motion carried.
And item 6, information and proposals. A, the business report.
Well, what I'd like to do is update you. The school year's come to a conclusion, and the business office has gone on a ramped-up speed. So the field work, which means when the auditors will be in district, is scheduled from August 6th to August 17th, depending upon how long it takes them to get through all of their items. The audit committee will be scheduled probably the week of July 30th through August 3rd, and then again upon conclusion of the audit, and when the audit draft reports are ready, per education law. And then the goal is to update. Remember when we came up with our reserve plan last January, I said it was to be a living document. So that will be presented to the board in October and updated at that point in time.
Okay. Item B, the superintendent's report.
So the two items that are listed here on the agenda, we've already covered, so I'll just cover a couple of more. And David, if I don't have the dates correct, please correct me if I'm wrong. There are some scheduled construction shutdowns this summer so that we can continue to do the unpretty type of work. June 26th, so Tuesday, Wednesday, possibly Thursday of next week, the servers are down, as is the power, phones, servers, and we have power. And then we go into July, somewhere between July 9th and 13th, it's just pretty much the opposite, where we have the servers, but we don't have the power in this building. But you have the sewers and the... Right, but they can operate, but they could operate them off of a battery. So this will get us in line of where we need to be able to be running backup things for the technology closets so that we're ready to go in the fall. We will have Campus and Young and Wright here at the August board meeting. Sorry, Barb, I just learned that today. At the August board meeting to give you an update of what they're doing in the summer and where they're going this fall. They are all scheduled to finish by December, so we are absolutely ramping up as well as is the business department. So lots of things that will happen between now and then. Also, we did our first grad walk. It was a wonderful experience. It was the hottest day that we've had, I'm pretty sure of it. But the kids were reluctant to go because they didn't really understand what it was going to be about. But once they got there, it was cool. If you've seen any of the videos, it's pretty nice.
Cute.
And I just wanted to read, this is up on Facebook, but I just wanted to read the response from one of the students after the fact. And she said, "We loved it. We thought it was super fun and cute and for some emotional. I think it should be done again, and it was awesome. I loved all the inspirational signs that the kids had. It was just so adorable. And I think everyone was so surprised how set up it was, too. I thought it was just going to be a walkthrough, but it was so good. And I wish that we could have done the elementary, too. But we really ran out of time because the logistics of it were really quite intense. And the smile on all the students' faces today was definitely worth it to the person who wrote this. So we also had some comments come back from the teachers at GLP who remembered these kids from when they were little. So it'll just continue to get better and better each year. Again, I want to thank Mr. Walker for all of his inspirational signs that were hanging on the ceiling, which was pretty cool. And also, I'd like to thank Mrs. Carter and Mrs. Bergstaller. The students' pictures as kindergartners or of the first year that they entered Eden were put on a lanyard so they could wear them. And so that was really awesome. And then Brenda also played the graduation music, and I think that really kind of got our kids super excited. And they were honking the horns and waving out the window on their way out. So it was pretty neat. Lauren, Josh, you want to say anything about it? You were there. And you were like in the last hallway. Oh, yeah, you're right, because your handwriting, I hope, is a little bit better. You're right. Because I was being asked on Facebook, what does that say? Right, I said, don't put your hands in your mouth. That's what I remember. But it was awesome. And so I'm really, really grateful to all the staff that had anything to do with getting this happen.
Oh, my gosh.
It was really important that everybody was able to do so. They all shared something different, they all had a different spin on it. They really wanted to make sure they recognized the kids, so those signs were important to them. They had a lot of conversation about just how to get them to wear them. They wanted them to wear that big yarn and everybody was going to do that. So we had a lot of conversation about it, and they did a great job. A lot of people worked really hard on different things to welcome the kids.
It was very, very well planned.
Okay, she's good? Okay. My computer froze, hold on. All right, so now we're up to the board report. Roundtable discussion?
Anything from the board members?
I mean, I would like to say thank you to everyone who came out and voted. I know this was a hot topic, a lot of different opinions, and I can appreciate both sides. And I really hope that no matter what side of the vote you fell on, that this encourages more people to come together and have more discussion prior to the 11th hour, because it did create a lot of chaos, and I think we could have probably done a lot more had we had concerns presented before us long before the first budget vote.
And along those same lines, as we've encouraged in the past, having comments, having input from the community or from the employees or from the students is always welcome and always encouraged, and so we could do without the mean-spirited part of the comments. But quite frankly, if you think something should be better or something should be different, quite frankly, we want to hear it. We need to hear it, and that's how things change when we hear this could be better or different, and it puts us into a thought mode, and things do change that way.
And along with that, thanks to everybody who filled out the surveys with whatever your comments were, because we haven't had a chance to look at them yet, but we will. And we know that we can learn from some of the things that happened here, and we're glad for the input that we got.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, future dates, reorganization and regular Board of Ed meeting Tuesday, July 10th, 2018 in the junior senior high school cafeteria.
So let me just ask Lucinda, where do you think that we're going to have that one?
It's got to be in the elementary because there's no power those 3 days.
Okay.
Here. So we're going to change that, Barb.
Okay.
So we're going to be in the elementary auditorium on July 10th for the reorg and regular meeting. That kind of settles it. Okay.
And then item 8, anticipated executive session, that upon the recommendation of the superintendent, the Board of Education enter executive session to discuss the employment history of a particular person, discuss contract negotiations, and the education program of a particular student under the exemption of Section 108 of the Public Officers Law, Open Meetings Law, and within scope of federal law governing privacy of a student educational records, the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act, FERPA. I'm not reading all those numbers. Okay.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstained, motion carried.
Okay,
Thank you, everyone. Have a great summer if we don't
we
see
need
you.
to make a motion to exit a regular session? No? Okay.